actually think you were the only inhabited planet in the universe. We could have destroyed it long ago if that had been our aim. You didn't actually think you were the only inhabited planet in the universe.
Hang on. I can't believe this just happened. Air Canada just made a huge announcement. It's my favorite Canadian Airlines. Air Canada now offers complimentary alcohol to passengers. Alex, if Spirit did that, there would be no survivors. That would be the end. That would be the end of Spirit as we know it. There would be no more. This is the Walmart of the sky. United Airlines, the Temu of United. What is your airline of choice?
I was Southwest, but pretty much on United.
They changed the business model.
Exactly.
Does that start this month?
I believe so. So, anyways, that's why I'm moving over to
Move
United.
that mic a little closer to your mouth if you don't mind. Hey, everybody, it's Kenny Webster. We are live. Obviously, we're on the radio. If you're listening to us you already knew you're listening to a radio, but we're also live streaming on the internet. So to those of you listening to us on the radio, sometimes we will reference things that we're looking at, and it won't make any sense to you. That's really our bad. So I apologize in advance for I do that. I am very interested in what's going on with your race right now. Alex Mueller, you are taking on Lena Hidalgo to be county judge.
Different one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But she's broken. She's done. So you can thank me later.
People
she will
are
not
gonna
be running.
People are going to think this is a rerun. No, actually, you probably get credit, at least partial credit.
I definitely got to take owner. You can thank you. So if you want to, have some justice in the world, she should be out of office. I should be in. It's one step to, fixing 22.
Keep talking while I adjust your camera.
All right. Well, as most of you know, Kenny and I are friends. Thought we weren't friends for a little bit here, so I was glad he invited me on the show since he endorsed my opponent. Thanks for that one.
I didn't endorse anyone in your race. I haven't endorsed anyone. It's you, Stovall, Dwayne Stovall, or Dwight. I don't know if it's Dwight or Dwayne. It's Dwayne. And then Briscoe Kane.
And then Dan Mims.
And Mims, the guy
probably 10 more people.
The guy who created the hit rap song, This Is Why I'm Hot.
It's a pretty good song.
I like that song.
It's kind of good. Are we allowed to play it?
I may have to endorse him. I love that song. He's a one-hit wonder. He never wrote another rap song after that.
Yeah, that is questionable.
This conversation won't make any sense to baby boomers. They're like, what the F are you guys talking? No, why did you think I endorsed someone?
I mean, pull up the website. So
whose website? Briscoe's?
Yeah.
Oh, I have not endorsed anyone in this race. No, I'm telling you right now. I'm cool with you. I'm cool with Stovall. I'm cool with Briscoe. I didn't agree with him impeaching Paxton, but I don't think we should judge someone for one vote. But I didn't like that. I mean, during Paxton's impeachment, I was fervently defending Paxton. It's always like people always pick these little microcosms of politics and they assume that's your whole perspective. It's not. I don't think so. But that's just the way people are, isn't it? I don't know, but no, I didn't know I was on Briscoe's website. I'm just learning that right now for the first time.
Well, that's good because, obviously I would like to stay friends with you and I'd have to murder you.
You would have to murder me.
So, you might want to, you can lower that life insurance policy now.
Republican political candidate murders right-wing talk show host, comedian. You were at our event on Sunday to help raise money for Wheelchairs for Warriors. Not the first time you've supported one of these, so I'm grateful for that. You're a real one. That is very cool. We do these events to raise Chad Prather. It was a really fun show, wasn't it?
And I thought it was pretty cool just to see over the years how it's really grown.
Right.
I mean, that was a packed house on a Sunday night for an incredible cause and, great people, good cause. I mean, that's nice when you can use your platform, whatever it is, in this case, the comedy show, to really bring attention to a needed cause. Pretty sad that private citizens have to fill this gap that you can sacrifice for your country and can't get a decent wheelchair.
It is unbelievable, and I hate to point it out, but it's a wheelchair charity, and we've never been able to get Governor Abbott to support it. I'm just saying, guys, I know there's, irony level palpable, but whatever, we'll leave that one alone. But why don't more people care about this? It's an obvious cause.
I would say for anybody, they're probably just not aware it's a gap.
People,
I think that's the problem is if you're a high-level official, I'm sure if was aware would take action, but there's probably 5,000 issues.
Yeah.
And so it's just why it's really good that you saw this need and are being aggressive about it. I don't think it's a fault to anybody else for not. I think it's just more of how do you try to bring attention when you can. And that's what I like with a lot of the, being in office is you learn, or, politically active, hope to be in office. That you learn about issues that people don't know, that are a big deal. And so then, it's that ability to quickly fix it. And even, being bomb squad, a lot of things that I hated about Afghanistan, certainly thought it was a waste of time and resources. But I love that you go out, there's an ID. When you come back, there's not.
Right.
Or you don't come back. But there's some sense of, moving fast, reacting, accomplishing. And that's what I saw with your wheelchair charity is, hey, there was a need. right? To change it through policy, probably slow, horrible, bureaucratic, but you and your friends could do something very quickly to have a positive impact.
Everybody's got one cause that got them into politics. I mean, political people. And then after that, they begin to form opinions about other stuff. For me, I've always been fervently anti-funding both sides of every war. Call me crazy. That always pissed me. 20 years ago, when I was a young college kid, I could not have been a Republican. Today, I could not be a Democrat for the exact same reason. The Democrats are all in on the military-industrial complex. And then after that, I started to form opinions about big pharma, gun rights thing. I grew up in Chicago, so there were no guns in Chicago, as you know. So we never had. So we never.
Well, and as long as you keep passing those strict gun rights, I mean gun laws, to take them away from law-abiding citizens, then you've no worries.
That's exactly. That seems to really work.
Most
Right.
people don't know. I worked on Gitmo prosecutions my first summer in law school in D.C., and it was terrifying because I just got out of the Army, so I was carrying around an AR-15 every day, in support of our defense. And then I go to D.C., and I'm living with a bunch of 20-year-olds, and all I can have is a pocket knife. We're not allowed to have a firearm. I was living in the neighborhood's called Shaw. It's right by Howard University.
Yeah.
Nice now, but it was very transitioning. And I was like, holy shit. Sorry. But it's like
Yeah,
a 30-minute.
You can't say that on the radio.
Yeah, but it's about a 30-minute response time for law enforcement. So I'm very glad that it's part of why I'm always like more boots on the town. But I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I've got two 20-year-old kids with me.
Right.
And I can go be a bomb tech. I'm working on Gitmo prosecutions, but I'm not trusted to carry a firearm because I was like, sure wasn't stopping everyone around that neighborhood from having firearms.
Or there's so many of these stories, right? Like Pensacola, there's a military base where there was a shooting there. It was an Islamic extremist. Nidal Hassan, where was that? Fort Bragg, one of them. And more of these things, and we're allowed to carry them on campuses and on college campuses in Texas, but you can't carry it on a military base. But to get back to the point, that's why I got into the wheelchair charity. And so what's the one issue that got you into politics?
When I got into politics was based on local, and it wasn't at first one, is when I saw it was an intentional choice to take apart our criminal justice system in Harris County. And that's when I saw crime up in my neighborhood. There's a story, and everyone kind of remembers it, but a woman got dragged like 5 p.m. walking her dog down my street.
Jesus.
And it's where I walk with my kids. And my kids at that point were only 18 months old. And in my neighborhood, a lot of Democrats, well, I'm glad to be moving. And I remember for the first time, they weren't blaming the victim, because that's typically the progressive stance. Everyone started talking about all the local crime in our neighborhood. And what I saw was the city of Houston hasn't changed, but the county did. And that was when Lena Beto Wave, and the final straw, which is that kind of mama bear instinct, is when Lena was masking my daughter. So my daughter was trying to learn to speak, and the county had oversight over all of our daycares.
So you wouldn't have ran in 2021 if not for the fact that in 2020, Lena Hidalgo was trying to put masks on toddlers.
Beyond that, it was the combination. Criminal justice was huge.
But I mean, it's just amazing how quickly that happened. You just running for county judge isn't nothing. That's a big deal.
But I just saw that these were intentional choices, and the short answer is I've always been on the liberty spectrum. And these were very key liberty issues. I mean, we had a government where it was nowhere we wanted it to be, right? It was unsafe because of intentional policies. We still have the most aggressive bail reform in the country. And it was everywhere I didn't want it to be, to the point of telling my 18-month-old child she had a mask, which is actually causing harm.
Oh, 100%.
And then
it was
they were going to, Kingwood High School without parent consent. They were trying to jab the kids. I mean, these are big. These aren't theoretical down. And so I wasn't planning to get into politics, and nobody in that race when I got into it was talking about those issues.
Does it bother you how quickly the pandemic ended and everybody forgot what they were mad about? Like in 4 years ago, Alan West, Chad Prather, Don Huffines, here's 3 great candidates. People are furious at Governor Abbott, and rightfully so. He arrested hairdressers and people for sitting at a picnic table outside of a bar. And those are good reasons to be. No one's mad about that stuff anymore. Everyone's forgotten it. Running for governor now, it's like, God bless anybody that does it. But it's like, man, we couldn't get people outraged then with 3 great candidates. What are we supposed to do now?
Well, like I said, I'm not familiar on the Abbott side.
You don't have an opinion on it. That's fine.
Well, no, I wasn't tracking it. What I was tracking was Lena Hidalgo,
Sure.
who was well outside of anybody's standards, right? Like, she led the country.
Do you think you're the reason why she had to go to purportedly go to drug rehab in 3 months?
Oh, I think the campaign certainly broke her, and I'm proud of that fact. I mean, they were hiding it. So during that campaign, amongst many issues, they were calling food poisoning, issues when we knew she was having mental health. But
Al-
you can't.
Alex, how could you bully a Hispanic woman?
I know, as a Hispanic woman, I'm the whitest Hispanic person, but yes.
What are you, Cuban, or what kind of Hispanic are you? What?
From Spain.
I did. Okay, I guess
I'm
I
half.
knew. I
That's
guess.
the last name.
So the privileged Hispanic,
Yes.
is that what?
The landowner elite. That's the Del. It means you're a landed gentry.
We got to take a quick break. If you're watching us on social media, this takes seconds. If you're listening on the radio, you're going to hear about some great products that you can buy, and we encourage you to support them. So stick around.
If you can hear my voice, you're still above ground, alive, and listening to Kenny Webster on KPRC 950. Plus, you don't smell like a dead person.
Hey, if you're watching us on social media, a quick reminder, this Saturday, Jesse Payne and I will be in Waco, Texas at something called the Waco Hippodrome Theater doing couples therapy. If you watched us do comedy on Sunday night with Chad Prather and, of course, Eric Knowles for the Wheelchairs for Warriors benefit, that was more political. That was like the right side of comedy. This will not be political at all. If you come out and see us on Saturday night in Waco, it's going to be nothing but dirty jokes and sex related. It's called couples therapy. We encourage married couples to come, but bachelorette parties and singles are obviously all are welcome. It's adult. It is very R-rated. If you thought that Sunday show was too dirty, as one or two people did walk out of our show on Sunday. Hey, it happens. This Saturday will be dirtier, and that is my promise to you. So anyway, you can get tickets right now. Go to jesseisfunny.com. You can also go to their website, the Waco Hippodrome website. I assume you could go there, right? Here's what the flyer looks like if you're watching us on social media. I don't know why Jesse's wearing this shirt. I think it's pink. He says it's salmon colored. I'll let you guys decide in the comment section. But anyway, we're going back on the air right now, so stand by. We'll be back live in just one short moment. Hang on, everybody. All right, everybody. It's getting real in here. Real stupid. Happy birthday today to Russian President Vladimir Putin. He has just turned 73 years young. And apparently, look, I'm not going to make a joke about that. I don't want to fall out of a window. Could you imagine that? Alex Mueller, you're a politician. Have any of your enemies ever fallen out of windows? How many of them have fallen out of windows?
I don't think I'm actually a politician. I've never held office.
But wouldn't you say that running for office, that doesn't make you a politician, running for office?
I think, I don't know. I'm obviously politically very active, but I just meant it's different when you're...
Three words nobody wants to be called, even though everybody wants the job. Politician, lawyer, and then what's the other one? Journalist, right? Nobody wants to be called a journalist.
Well, that's one of the things
Journalist.
It's like, not a lawyer, work in oil, gas, finance, right? But very active, care about where I live. After
you ran for county judge, a lot of people were encouraging you to get back into politics. And you chose to run in this race. Now, this is, they redistrict. Why did you choose this particular part of the city to run in?
Yeah. When I think about it, the issues that matter more, who I knew, I'm generally very familiar with Harris County, but my entire general election was East Harris County, right? And it's one of those districts where kind of say, right skill set, right seat. So for me, it wasn't about any congressional district. I know there's been a lot of talk, well, why don't you go to this one or that one? It's like, working with people I have relationships with. So this district heavily overlaps Commissioner Ramsey's, Fred Flickinger, Deer Park Mayor. These are all, obviously, Pasadena Police Union helped me a lot with the Court of Appeals. That these were people that, like you've stayed in touch, been good friends for a lot of years where would want to, at the end of the day, it is a job, who are you going to work with? But then separately, putting the ship channel into a district where they consolidated. This whole district was so neglected under the Biden administration. This was really largely Sylvia Garcia's district, right? And so the idea that this area that's been such an economic growth engine, it's roughly the GDP of Saudi Arabia. So $1 trillion in GDP a year, but it needs to be protected and advocated for. And one thing that I think we can all agree on is that Texas should be leading, right? So, and that's in Pasadena. That's from the county judge, but where I launched with their law enforcement. So a lot of the issues, too, that matter the most in that district are things, obviously, there's very significant infrastructure challenges. So Sylvia didn't do her job. That port that's creating 3 million jobs nationally, 1.5 million in Texas. Almost everything that comes out of the port stays in the Golden Triangle, about 70% in Houston. So if you wanted to fight for Houston and fight for Texas, and I would say even fight for America, there's no better district than this one. I've got plenty of proof to support that, but it's also hyper candidate specific. So out of anyone that ran in 22, I led the vote in this district. It doesn't matter how you cut it. And it's because these are all first-time Trump voters. And it's really, and so yeah, massive landmass.
Can you explain what that means? First-time Trump voter, like they did not used to be Republican.
Exactly. And so when I was running in 22, these were all of our swing voters that we thought we could target. So I actually beat Lena by 10 points in the Harris County portion of this district. It's roughly 85% Harris County, 15% Liberty, based on voting in the general. Liberty County, too, what's fun is there's so many big infrastructure challenges. So you've got Colony Ridge in Liberty. What's insane is that this has been allowed to grow. It's already roughly half the population of this rural county is this, community. Not sure the percentage that's illegal, but it's significant. Almost everything's in Spanish. That's completely overwhelmed this rural community. And what they want to do is keep it the rural community that it is. And so the scary problem outside of, okay, there's not enough law enforcement. There's like 4 officers on shift for 80,000 people. So crime statistics, we don't know. All of the stray dogs, that was a big issue to me, county judge, was dealing with all the stray dogs in the greater Harris County. Our local nonprofits are being overwhelmed by all the dogs in Colony Ridge. They say stray dogs are the mascot. And then what's really scary...
Wait. I've heard this before, too. So the Colony Ridge mascot is packs of roaming dogs. Yeah. And when you go there, for those that don't know, and I'm sure most people do, but Colony Ridge is supposed to be the largest housing development for illegal immigrants in the United States. And, of course, it's just northeast of Houston, which would put it in your district, right?
Smacking it.
And so, obviously, you're not a fan of Colony Ridge. This makes you differ from your opponents a bit?
Yeah, what's great about it is, so, I don't have dirty hands on this because I'm not a politician or haven't held office, obviously been politically active, but I'm not compromised on it. Right? I don't have any hurt feelings about it.
As opposed to what exactly? Who's compromised?
Well, there's just a lot of office holders that turned a blind eye to it. I talked about Colony Ridge in 22.
I think Crenshaw got money from him. Is that what you're referring to?
No, I mean, pretty much most office holders of some sort, and different ones accepted and moved forward on fixing it. But it's a real point of contention. And what I can say is just because I have good law enforcement at this point, almost I have just about every law enforcement endorsement you can get. I've got the statewide down to all the regional, that when I'd ask law enforcement when I was running for county judges, like, hey, is this a real problem? They're like, yes, it is. So to me, there's no excuse for if you're in the Houston area not having good visibility on it, because all you had to do was drive around or ask an officer that this is not the American dream. In fact, it's now a generational problem. And for us in Houston, why I like I wrote the white paper, advocated for taking flood control away from Harris County and making it a multi-county, doing it based on the watershed. And one of the problems for us is everything that's draining out of Colony Ridge, their raw sewage in particular, that's going into our Lake Houston drinking water.
Colony Ridge has a raw sewage issue.
Yes. There's no standards. Is development gone wrong? So
I guess part of what bugs me about this, everybody knew about Colony Ridge at first, and it hasn't improved. No. It hasn't been fixed, but now people just don't talk about it anymore.
And so that's something I'm being unambiguous about. Hey, guys, it happened. Whoever, should have done better, that's sort of in the past. But who do you trust to fix it? Because it's growing at least 10% a clip. So it's going to be probably 250,000 in the next few years. And because others have dirty hands about it in my race, they're hiding from it. So I've got a very clear record over time saying Colony Ridge is a huge problem. And it is key. It is so big that it's not just a Liberty problem. So I actually like how they drew Liberty and Harris County together, because I think there's ways with this being such a powerful economic seat that can use the power from the port and ship channel to help better advocate for Liberty, that if it was just on its own as a rural county, could be forgotten about.
All right, so for those that haven't been keeping up with this, Texas District 09, CD District 09, CD09, I don't mean to be redundant, used to be South Houston, and now it's going to be Far East Houston, which means it's going to go from being a deep blue district to a deep red one.
I wouldn't say deep red. I think it's about an R+10.
Okay, but it's not, Al Green is not going to
No.
be the district. He's not going to be the congressional
He's running
leader.
in Texas 18, so it's super confusing. The easiest way to think about it is they took Sylvia Garcia's portion of East Harris County, and then they tacked on some of Babin's district, which was all of Liberty County and some of LaPorte Deer Park, to make it a red seat. So not deep red, but if you focus on the right issues, and in this, it's largely Hispanic, largely blue collar, so public safety and jobs matter a lot. It's a seat we don't have to worry about. But they,
I think that the Houston public media, for that, we're on social media, so this will be useless to people on the radio, but I think we have a map of it here.
and
Let's see.
I've got a map on my website with all the roads, which is nice to see. If you go to alexandramueller.com.
Is this the new one or the old one? It must be the old. Yeah, this is it, right? So that's CD9 is going to go from there to there. Okay, so we're looking at it right now. To those of you on the radio, I apologize, but we're just comparing here. That what was once the most famously gerrymandered district in Texas, Sylvester Turner and Sheila Jackson Lee's district, that moves down to South Houston. And now Sylvia Garcia's district becomes the whole Sylvester Turner, Sheila Jackson Lee, Sylvia Garcia, that basically all becomes just 29. What do you think happens with Al Green? Does he stick around? Do you think?
So this is the.
Do you think he gets reelected?
Yes. So what's funny, and he'll talk about it. So Texas 18 got moved to the geography of Texas, old Texas 9.
All right. So what about some of these people like Isaiah Martin is a progressive? Do you know who that is?
No, of course, he always attacks me.
He pretended to hold a town hall in
King
jail.
Grifter, right?
He got arrested at a congressional redistricting meeting at the Austin State, the Texas State Capitol, and then he claimed after he went to jail that he held a town hall, and that all the inmates agreed they were really worried about child care. Now, I don't want to sound racist, but I am pretty sure if you got together a group of men who have just been arrested and you asked them what they were the most worried about while they're sitting in a holding cell, child care is not the first thing they're going to mention.
Isaiah Martin first ran against Sheila. Then he took his orders from King Rodney Ellis, dropped out, raised a ton of money, ironically complaining about elections in Harris County.
Yeah.
So grifters are going to grift. He's not a serious candidate.
All right,
I don't know what Qatari is funding him because he gets all of his funny money from Act Blue.
I never got paid for a tweet. I never got any Qatari money. I never got the Jew money from Israel. I never got any of this stuff. Where's my check? If I'll vote for you if you give me some of this Qatar money.
Now, I know, unfortunately, Republicans do not have a good money filtering thing like Act
We
Blue.
don't.
But I just, this guy that pulls below the margin of error somehow is raising, hundreds of thousands of dollars across the country.
All right, we got to wrap this up. Alex, you are a friend. And for the record, I've not endorsed you. I've not endorsed Dwayne Stovall. I've not endorsed Briscoe Kane. No offense to Briscoe. I've not endorsed him. I endorsed him 2 elections ago, and then I didn't endorse anybody in the last couple races. And I don't know why it says that, but I want to let you get the last remark here. Go ahead.
No, I just say I'm running for this seat because I think it should be one of the most powerful seats in Congress. When you're talking about Houston and Texas, we should be leading. And that's what I want to do is use this seat, work with our local leaders. That's why I'm proud. Got just about every law enforcement endorsement behind me and most of your local leaders, Commissioner Ramsey, Fred Flickinger, mayors from LaPorte, Deer Park, former mayors, that everyone's raising their hand and saying, I want to work with Alex. And because it's not about, obviously you need to be a good person, somebody you get along with, but it's about having skill set. I'm the only person with the oil and gas private sector, and I've always been in the fight. I've raised my hand for the toughest battles. I don't remember a lot of people when we were fighting for our elections, fighting against Lena Hidalgo, fighting for our judges. And this is a chance that I think that I can move the needle to really make our region a better, safer place.
If we had a debate with you, Stovall, Mims, and Kane, would you participate if we invited you
Yeah, when
guys?
we get that. And what I would say is, listen, I think we're all excited about the opportunity to support President Trump's agenda. We have a great president, an amazing speaker, and where I think the more the differentiator works is going to be, well, what can you do for this district as well? And also, how can you work with other colleagues? And that should matter, your ability to work well with others.
All right, one more question. What is your position on Tylenol during pregnancy? Go. All right, we'll leave that one
No,
alone.
sorry.
We'll leave that one alone. I'm Kenny Webster. I love you all. Thank you for watching. If you watched us or listening, if you watched us on social media, please retweet this video. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning for more of what you bought a radio for.
You are listening to the Pursuit of Happiness Radio. Tell the government to kiss your ass when you listen to this show.